Hey Soup, it's Claytano. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And today is the first episode of the top arena offenses and why they work. Now, I've been thinking long and hard about how I actually want to make this series. And basically what I'm going to do is showcase a specific person's AO specifically and what they use and how they have success with it. So one person's AO that I want to kind of showcase today is somebody by the name of Scat Fetus, and it is a bomb style AO. Now this series isn't going to be really geared towards just average players. This is the top, literally the top arena offenses and why they work. There are absolutely variations of it, but really this is going to be more keying in on their specific monsters. So there's going to be monsters that not everybody has. There's going to be monsters that aren't easily obtainable. But again, I'm going to do the best that I can to try to give you guys options to try to run it the same way, if that makes sense. So just to start off here, this is Scat Fetus. Of course, he's in my guild. And the bomb style AO is really dependent on one monster, okay? If you don't have Sierra, don't run a bomb type arena offense, okay? Now, again, like I said, this isn't going to be something for just the average player, and of course not everybody has Sierra. I don't have Sierra personally, but this is the first episode and this is what I chose to do. So this is the bomb style AO, okay? If you don't have Sierra, don't try to run it. If you do have Sierra, then you can absolutely run a bomb style arena offense. The reason why is because if you don't have Sierra, then you don't have this third skill, because it's the only one in the game like it that actually detonates the bombs on the opponents or on the opposing team that you're attacking on. Okay? If you read it, attacks all enemies and detonates all bomb effects on them, instantly dealing the bomb damage to the enemy targets. The reason why I say don't run it without a Sierra is because if you try to run it with two bombers, the chances of it getting removed within that time frame, because there are so many cleansers out there, there's a Vermos, there's anything that's going to be removing buffs, even a Konamiya, 2-star monster, that will counter your team. Okay? It's that simple. So the reason why you need Sierra is because it detonates it that absolute moment. If you're going to be running Sierra, you would actually want to pair it with another bomber that actually puts AoE bombs on everybody else. The reason why is because Sierra only lands one bomb, but the fact that it allows for another turn immediately is ridiculously OP. I think it's a little bit too OP in my personal opinion, because there's really no counter for this arena offense. This is why I chose this arena offense to showcase on the first episode. The only counter to this arena offense is resistance, and it's RNG based completely, because you can have 100% resistance on your monsters and still get 100% bombed like it's nobody's business. I mean, that's a fact. So, what other monsters do you want to run with Sierra? Well, we already discussed that you want to add a bomber with it. So in Scat's case, Scat's specific extra bomber is actually a Dover. Okay, it installs bombs that go off after 2 turns on all enemies and increases the attack bar by 50%. Okay, so another reason why bombs are super OP is because they don't actually hit the target. That means they don't have a chance to glance. It's just like Galleon's third skill AoE, where when he uses it, it doesn't touch the enemy, so it doesn't check for glancing based on elemental disadvantages. So even though Dover is a light monster, it's still not checking for glancing, and it has a higher chance to actually land its debuff because of that, because it doesn't check for glancing. It doesn't matter. Again, it's ridiculously too strong for the game right now. Okay, so moving on, Aside from that, it doesn't really matter too much about the other skills on the bomber of your choice. It doesn't have to be Dover. It doesn't have to be Leebly. It could be a JoJo that you can fuse. Okay, it could be any other AOE bomber. It doesn't have to be Dover. Of course, there are some that are better than others because they have higher base attack, etc., etc., etc. But you know, if you have the better ones like the LD ones, definitely go with them. So as far as the support monsters that are going to make these two extremely overpowered is something that's going to increase your attack bar of all allies, also going to remove any sort of threat that your bombs won't land, such as immunity, well, I guess just mainly immunity, and not have a chance to be resisted at all. 100% not going to be resisted. Okay? Now, if you kind of know the monster I'm talking about, yes, it's Tiana. So, when you have Tiana, you essentially have a speed buffer, or not a speed buffer, but an attack bar booster. You have a AoE stripper with 100% non-glancing, and you have Sierra with the leader skill of speed boost, right? It's got a 24% attack speed boost. So that gives you a whole lot of game against even speedy offenses, or speedy defenses, with having this sort of duo paired with each other. Okay, we're not even talking about runes yet. We're just talking about strictly the skills of the monsters that are set up together. Okay. Now, it's like you almost don't even need a fourth monster with this type of AO, but what's another monster that's going to give you the absolute best bang for your buck? And I talked about him earlier, and it's Galleon. Again, somebody that does not check for glancing with his third skill. It doesn't touch anybody, and it actually not only decreases the attack defense, it not only decreases the defense of the opponent, but also increases your attack power on the same turn. So what happens is this. If your Tiana isn't fast enough to outspeed the enemy team, say it's a speed team, and they actually outspeed you, and they stun one of your monsters, you're thinking, oh god, the whole plan is ruined. It's up in the air, it's done. But oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Tiana actually unstuns you. Unstuns your entire team as well on top of it. Like, are you kidding me? Okay. Anyway, unstuns your entire team on top of that. So there's really, even if you do get stunned, even if you do get, a couple of things landing on you, dots, defense break, as long as your team doesn't die, you're pretty much in the clear. You're pretty much in the clear. And that's about it. The only sort of counter to this type of arena offense is a fire Desert Queen that's actually going to be faster than the Tiana and actually not derp and use its third skill to remove the will off of your Tiana and set its skill on cooldown, and then you have somebody that's going to be faster than their entire team and actually then remove their buffs, do something that it's going to actually mess up their combo. So even like a Triton that's going to mess up their buffs, mess with their attack bars so they can't get it off correctly, even though still if they land 4 bombs first and then if you make their Sierra go first, then it kind of screws everything up because then it can't detonate all the bombs. Okay, we're getting off topic here. Let's get back on track. So let's talk about ruining now. You got your 4 monsters. Okay, this is the main arena offense. This is a ridiculous arena offense. Okay, so you have Sierra. Let's take a look at how it's ruined. Okay, it's got almost 3,800 attack. No, 2,800. I did that completely wrong. 2,800 attack with 97 speed. Okay, no will, but that's okay because it doesn't need will because, again, if it gets stunned, if it gets outsped, it has Tiana to pick it back up. Okay? Again, attack, attack, attack with speed, and the crit rate is 48%, and the accuracy. Those are the main things that you're looking at, mainly attack power and accuracy, and then crit rate is just a bonus. Just a bonus. Okay. Let's take a look at Tiana. 166 speed. Guarantee you it's Swift Will. I'm hoping that it's Swift Will. Again, it doesn't need any accuracy, so why do you even need to care about accuracy? You don't need to worry about it, so why even have it? Yep, Swift Will. Okay, speed, crit rate, attack. The crit rate, I'm guessing, is just there because it has 18 speed on it, and it's probably one of the better slot 4 speed runes that he has to go well with the other runes that he has on it currently. Okay? That's a no-brainer. It's the easiest monster to rune out of all of them. Just as much as you can with speed. It doesn't have to be crit rate, doesn't have to be accuracy, it doesn't have to be anything. It's just gotta be Swift Will, and as fast as you possibly can make it. And then, we'll talk about Dover. We got Dover is at exactly 200 speed. What was Sierra again about? What was Sierra's speed again? Pop quiz. 97. Okay, 197 compared to exactly 200. There's a very small speed difference, but the fact that the base speed on this one's a little bit lower than Sierra, it closes that gap just slightly because of the buildings, the actual speed boost, leader skill itself, and everything else. Okay, so now moving on to Galleon. Actually, let's real quick just show you Dover is the same way, right? Almost 3,000 attack power. Okay, accuracy again 70%, 69%, whatever. And the runes are attack, attack, attack with speed and accuracy subs. Okay? The fact that he doesn't need to use speed slot 2 is the key. It's the key. Because it doesn't need speed slot 2, you have that extra boost of attack power, which is insane. Okay. Enough said. Moving on. Galleon. He's got 2 of them, okay? Let's just make sure we're using the right one, which is this one. Okay? It is 210 speed. So it's a little bit faster compared to the other ones, but I'm guessing that he has it that fast because his Zeros that he uses with the same Galleon as well. Actually, he slowed it down. But it used to be plus 107 speed. So he changed that because he wanted to get more accuracy on his Zeros because of all of the damn Samath or Water Fairy Kings out there in today's world. So, back to Galleon. 100% accuracy, 210 speed. That's really all you need to care about. It's on Violent Will, accuracy, crit damage, speed, and it has the speed subs to make it relevant to where it needs to be. What more can you ask for? You don't need anything more. You don't need anything more. He doesn't even need to grind that rune out because it's already speed tuned with the entire team. Okay? So, here's what happens. Tiana buffs the speed, removes the will rune threat from all of the monsters on the opponent, then Galleon buffs attack power, breaks defense power. Then you have Dover land his AoE bomb skill, and then you have Sierra come in and land another bomb on whatever monster she may choose. Whatever monster happens to RNG resist one of the bombs from Dover, or just double bombs one of their tank monsters that might need an extra bomb. And then she AoE detonates them on a defense broken monster, so it already does damage, probably like 20k damage just on her AoE skill. And then you get bombs landing behind it, which is another 30-something thousand damage, 25, 30,000 damage depending on the bombs, depending on the attack power. And they're pretty much all dead. The ones that do survive actually get stunned by bombs. They get stunned. If bombs weren't already too overpowered, the ones that do survive will get stunned, leaving your team a free and clear win. Because you might have one tank monster that survived it. Oh well, you're stunned. And now I have my Dover that's gonna clean up any one of your monsters because it's light and doesn't really care about elemental disadvantages. Then I have my Galleon that's going to be continuously defense breaking you. I have my Tiana that's also going to be continuously defense breaking you with my skill 1. And then I have Sierra that's going to still be just bombing, detonating, and it's that easy. It's that easy. So what are some alternatives? You have to have Sierra. Don't build bombs unless you don't have Sierra. Rule of thumb. You have to have a second bomber. It could be anything. Whatever you have. If you don't have one, build JoJo. You have to have a buff stripper. It could be Aquila, it could be Soha, it could be Triton, it could be anything. But you have to have a buff stripper. Otherwise, you're gonna get blocked by the condoms that are will runes. You have to also have an attack power booster. That could be a Megan. That could be probably just Megan. Just build Megan if you don't have the Tiana. Because the defense break that you're getting isn't all that important. So if you have Megan, that's going to be increasing your own attack bar, and then you have a different AoE stripper, you kind of have to play around with it so you have everything you need except for the defense break, the AoE defense break that Galleon provides you. That's really the easiest way. So you can do Sierra, JoJo, Megan, and Soha or Aquila, really, and that would have the same type of effect as this would have. The only difference is that you have a higher chance to fail because your team will get stunned and you may miss your strip. Now, if you're fighting against a team that you know does not have a strip or does not need a strip, you can sub in Galleon with it so that way you can have that extra damage, or you can put in an extra bomber and have 2 AoE bombers plus Sierra plus Galleon, where you don't need to outspeed because Sierra leader skill is enough to not need to worry about it. Okay? So that's why this is one of the top arena offenses in the game. This is why Scat Fetus gets legend on top of his arena defense, of course, but this is one of the main reasons why he gets legend. This is what he uses to get legend. I hope you guys can make the same type of arena offense as well. I personally think this is too overpowered for the game, but it is very, very unit specific. That's the only downside to this arena offense. However, if you have it, it can't be stopped, other than RNG resist. But hopefully you guys like this series. I definitely appreciate you guys watching. As always, stay soupy, don't be potatoes. If this helped you, please like, and subscribe, because I'm going to be coming out with the next style of top arena offenses as planned. All right, guys. Thank you again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.